So teen boys are kind of gross. And by kind of gross, I mean fucking disgusting, right? Have you ever like met a teen boy? They're just kind of nasty. They're also not very well groomed. And that's what we're talking about today. Because unfortunately, some of you are still making some of these teen grooming mistakes that are making you A, nasty, B, look bad, C, nasty. Did I mention stinky? Because that's where we're going to start, all right? Number one is dirty. Teen boys are dirty just because that's what they are. They're young, their hormones are in overdrive, they're not super like aware of the fact that they need to be more hygienic. And so number one is shower. If you're not showering every single day, it doesn't matter if you don't sweat. It doesn't matter, like, if you're not showering every day, you're nasty. Number two is your hands. Have you ever looked down on a little dude's or a teen boy's hands? They're fucking gross, right? Their nails are long, they're dark, they're like dirty underneath, right? Their cuticles are nasty, or they bite their nails, or their hands are just filthy because they don't wash their hands. Gentlemen, bottom line is this. You need to make sure that your hand grooming game is strong. Pubes, all right? When you're a teen, you start to get pubes, right? And it's awesome. At first you're like, yo, check it out, right? Because it's exciting. But then it starts to get a little longer, and then before you know it, you've got a pretty substantial bush down your pants. Unfortunately, you also get hair on your balls, which is a good thing because you're growing up, but it's a bad thing because hair on your balls is kind of nasty. And a big monster man bush is also not super ideal because the big bush makes your wiener look small. It also traps odor. Trim your bush and shave your balls. Two things that you need to be doing, all right? I don't mind if you have like a man bush as long as it's neat and tidy and groomed and not like super curly and long. Because you know many people want to go down on a dude that's got like super long curly pubes, like zero. And your balls, they need to be shaved. They also need to be powdered, amigo, which is another mistake that young dudes make. Teens, right? Having stinky balls. Powder your balls. If you are not powdering your balls every single day after the shower, before you leave the house, your balls stink. It's what they do. You're a dude, right? It's hot, it's meaty down your pants, and all day you're up running around, and what happens? It's dark, it's damp, it's meaty, it's a mess. And so bacteria forms, and it becomes musky, all right? Take your hand, little test. Put it down your pants right now. Like right now. Stop for a second. Put it down your pants and drag your hand between your balls and your leg. Give it a sniff. How does it smell? If the answer is amazing and fresh, you're probably using this powder. If the answer is a little funky, then you need to be using this powder. The best, gentlemen. I'm going to link to the Pete Pedro powder down below. Don't wait. Don't sleep on this deal. I got a discount code down below. And while you're at it, I also want you to grab this, which is a high-quality, non-aluminum, non-paraffin, non-bad for your body, non-jacking your testosterone endocrine system up deodorant. Gentlemen, this deodorant by Pete and Pedro is a natural deodorant, which is the next mistake that teen boys make, and that is they stink because they're not applying or using a deodorant properly. Guys, deodorant, it's an essential tool that every guy needs. If you're not wearing a deodorant, like seriously, who are you? Do I even know? Are you even an Alpha M subscriber? Next up, let's talk about your eyebrows. Another mistake that young dudes make, right? Too thin. When you start like getting into grooming, some young dudes are like, yo, I'm gonna pluck, I'm gonna tweeze, I'm gonna shave, I'm gonna do all this, and boom, you look like a chick. You wanna make sure your eyebrows are more natural. Also, never shave them. Another mistake that teens make. They shave. You gotta pluck. Gentlemen, you remove the hair from the root with tweezers, not shave. When you shave a hair, you're gonna be seeing a big ass fat cross section of all the hairs. And so when it starts to grow back in, boom, it looks like you got 5 o'clock stubble on your face. Don't do it. Also, don't shave your eyebrows or pluck your eyebrows too wide. It makes you look slow. And by slow, I mean slow. Get a comb, get a brush, get something straight. Boom, right? On the side of your nose, right up, right? You're gonna pluck everything in between, all right? That's where your eyebrows should start, and then in terms of where they should stop, get that comb, put it on the outside corner of your eye, and that is where your brow should actually stop. Never remove any hair above your brow, all right? You wanna make sure that they are left, the little tiny baby hairs, because you want a more natural looking and shape to your eyebrow. If you wanna clean up a little bit underneath, that's fine, just don't arch them or make them too thin, or else you'll look like a chick. See this? It's a Q-tip. You need to use it every day, but not just like in your ear canal. Another mistake that teens make is not cleaning your ear properly. Guys, you gotta make sure that after the shower, that is the proper time to clean your ears. After the shower, get a Q-tip or 2 or 3. They're cheap. You don't need to like worry about wasting them, right? And then what you're gonna do is trace the fold of your ear, right? And then make sure to get like all over, because a lot of young dudes have blackheads and it gets like nasty like in your ear, all right? Because they don't clean it properly. And then take a clean end and go inside the canal, all right? Make sure not to go too deep, all right? But you gotta clean your ears every single day, in my opinion. All right. Next up is your teeth, your breath. Oh my God. If I had $1 for every stinky breath dude I met, I would have a lot of dollars. You got to make sure your breath is fresh. How are you going to do that? A, if you got a dry mouth, it's stinky. Dry mouths are stinky mouths. And so there are mouthwashes out there that can help make your mouth a little bit more hydrated, a little bit more lubricated, or chew gum, right? Something with xylitol, amazing for keeping your teeth super strong and your breath crazy sexy fresh. The next thing is your teeth. Are they white, right? And that's another thing. A lot of young dudes have nasty, like gross yellowish teeth. You gotta whiten your teeth. Make sure that they're clean. Go to a dentist every 6 months for a cleaning and a checkup, all right? Also, your gums. Are they straight? You gotta be flossing. If they're not, if they're bleeding when you brush, then you probably have a problem. Also, speaking of brushing, gentlemen, what I would recommend is upgrade to an electric toothbrush, all right? Yeah, see that? Yeah, exactly. You gotta make sure that you're actually properly cleaning your teeth. And if you're just using like a manual brush, right, your teeth aren't as clean as they could be. Use and upgrade to a sonic toothbrush. Next up, let's talk about your sideburns. You need them. Another mistake that young dudes make is chopping their sideburns off way too high, right? You need sideburns. They help finish your hairstyle and frame your face. They also just look good. If you don't have them, they look bad, right? If you're doing some type of skin fade, you don't need them. If you're shaving your head bald, then fine. You might not need them, but if you're gonna have a beard, you need to transition the beard properly, which brings me to the next thing that young dudes do wrong, and that is rock a patchy beard. Blackheads. Get rid of them. Don't have them. How are you going to do that? Beauty strips. I love them. At least once every 2 weeks, I would say use one if you are prone to getting blackheads in a specific area. And the last thing we got to talk about is the rest of your handsome face, your skin. Another mistake that teens make is neglecting their skincare. And the reason why they've got breakouts and zits all over the place and whiteheads and nastiness is because A, testosterone is starting to skyrocket in your body. Can't do anything about that. It's actually good for you. A lot of things are going to happen, including more body hair, more muscle mass, bigger big Al's, right? But it also gives you blackheads, breakouts, and blemishes. Critical that you start taking better care of your face. What does that mean? Wash your face twice a day. Don't overdo it. Don't do it 7 times a day. That's actually bad. When you overwash it, it actually stimulates more like oils to basically be produced. So you only really need twice a day, and you need to moisturize. Another mistake that guys make when they're young is using too much hair product, all right? If you're using like a crap ton of hair product, your hair's probably looking oily, crunchy, or nasty. It's about less is more, guys. Less product, more sexiness. This brings me to the last mistake, and that is hairstyle. Choosing a hairstyle that's too young, too youthful for you, not being a teen dude, all right? Now, what is too young or a hairstyle that's young? Think of like TikTok. Think of all the young dudes on TikTok that have like crazy like hair like this or big like broccoli bangs just like over their face. That's young. It's not good. It's not good for you. It looks great on them, not good on you. In my opinion, go with the style that's a little bit more classic, a little bit more refined, a little bit more elevated in terms of aesthetic. Gentlemen, bottom line is this. Teen boys, they're eventually going to be big boys. But until then, they're going to make some nasty mistakes that make them disgusting and not look super great. But because you're over the age of 18, you need to make sure you're not making them. If you're not making them, you're probably sexy as hell.